This
West
conference
Africa.
will now be recorded.
And so we're going to go ahead and get started with the presentation. Thank y'all so much for joining us. All right, John, are you able to get started? Hello, John, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Therese.
Of course. Are we able to go ahead and get started?
Yes.
Wonderful.
I think this aspect of the presentation is supposed to be presented by Mustafa.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead with that. Mustafa, are you able to turn your audio on? Mustafa, are you there? All right, it appears that Mustafa is not yet on. John, would it be possible for you to start with the first couple of slides instead?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Right. Thank you everyone for coming. And warm greetings to everyone present on this webinar. My name is John Ubaba. I am the Regional Associate for Western Africa, and I'm also the Director of YALDA Ghana. Right, so like Therese earlier said, this presentation is about how to get YALDA members to participate effectively in YALDA international activities. First and foremost, in YALDA, we always submit reports on activities we are doing. And so for all branches, for all other branches, you have to submit your quarter branch reports. And there are important dates. YALDA International expects all these reports to come in. And so the 1st of January and 1st of June, YALDA International develops a strategy for the year. And this strategy has to do with all activities that YALDA and the branches will be implementing for the year. And so we encourage and we expect that all branches at the beginning of the year will develop their action plan which then feeds into YALDA International plan for the year. So what it means is that if you are a branch and you don't develop an action plan for a particular year, then there is no basis for YALDA International to develop the annual plan of work. So it is expected that all branches every year must develop those plans. And midway must also review the plans and see what can be changed, what can be added on to ensure that the plan for the year is achieved. Once you do this as a branch, you must let YALDA International know of what you are doing. And so we expect you to submit 4 reports for the whole year. So the first report is expected to come in on the 22nd of March. These dates are very important dates. So YALDA termed them as important dates. So 22nd of March, every branch of YALDA is expected to submit first quarter report. So as I'm speaking now, 22nd of March, we are expecting all YALDA branches to submit their first quarter report for 2020 through the online portal. There is a form, and I know all executive directors of the branches have this form. The second report is supposed to come in the 2nd of June. So every year, 22nd of June, all branches are expected to submit their second quarter reports. The same applies to the third quarter, which is 22nd of September, then the last quarter, 2nd of December. So these are the 4 sets of reports that YALDA International expects from all branches. The implication of not submitting a report means that then YALDA International cannot tell which branches are effective, which branches are facing what problems, and which branches need specific support from YALDA International. So it is important that every branch must submit this report. Another important aspect is emailing list. So if you are a branch and you are the executive director and all your members are not on YALDA emailing list, as soon as possible, you, the executive director, need to contact your regional associate for your particular region and submit all members so that the members can be put on the emailing list. The essence of this emailing list is that YALDA day in and out sends updates, sends information to members. And so through this emailing, you can be able to receive this, and then where there are opportunities, you tap. So it's very, very important for all YALDA members to be on the emailing list. We have 2 sets of emailing lists, the members and then the executives. So executives also have a separate emailing list, but they are also part of the general emailing list. So the distinction must be clear so that all executive directors and all regional associates are able to submit. Okay. Now, another important um, um, issue is that our website is there for discussions and engagements. Once you register or once you join YALDA, you have the platform YALDA create for you to participate in discussions and learning. And so our website is there, www.yaldaafrica.org. You can go there and participate in discussions. You can also use our social media pages, like our Facebook page, our Twitter handles, and LinkedIn to participate in all discussions and also suggestions from members. So all members should try as much as possible to engage through these platforms. Next slide, please. All right. One important information that all the other members must have or must know as this, YALDA has been recognized by the UN. And so we have the status to work with the UN. The United Nations Economic and Social Council has granted YALDA this special consultative status. And what does this mean? All YALDA members must know this because this is a special status that YALDA has. What it means is that YALDA can provide expert analysis on issues directly from our experience in the field. So with this status, it means that as members, we have the opportunity to contribute to discussions and expert analysis with issues that borders on international development and with the UN. It also allows us as an organization to be informed by provisional programs by the Economic and Social Council of the UN. We also have the privilege to attend meetings and access the United Nations grounds for our events. So this special consultative status granted to YALDA is a very important thing that all YALDA members must know, all YALDA branches must be aware of. We can submit written and oral statements to the Council. And of course, once we submit these statements to the Council, it means that the Council is going to use our opinions and our suggestions and our inputs in every planning and decision that they are making. We are also expected to play a major role in advocating for the United Nations goals and objectives. So as an organization, we are promoting the Sustainable Development Goals, and the UN gives us that space and recognition to be able to make or participate in these discussions. The other has the opportunity with this status to work with the Council's subsidiary bodies. So not all organizations or NGOs have this status or have the privilege, opportunity to work with the UN subsidiary bodies. But with this status we have, we can work with the UN subsidiary bodies. And as such, your branch members must be interested. The branch themselves must be interested in attending all meetings that the UN organizes. And if any branch wants to attend such a meeting, you need to contact YALDA US to help you in going around this or facilitating the process for you to be able to attend those meetings. And it's very important for all YALDA members to know this. We have this special consultative status, and it gives us a lot of privilege over other organizations. Next slide, please. One of the core pillars or objectives of YALDA is to promote the African Union Agenda 2063. And I know that as young people in this space, we are all aware, if not in-depth information, some form of information about the African Union 2063 agenda. What this agenda says is that it is a call to action by all Africans and all organizations passionate about Africa's development to work in unity, prosperity, and ensure that there's peace on the continent. And the agenda seeks to see that future where the whole African continent is united, is working together, is prosperous, and is peaceful. And so as an organization, YALDA, we are passionate about helping to achieve this vision. And the continent cannot achieve this vision without young people. Because when we talk about the future of Africa, who are the future? It is we young people who are the future of Africa. So no prosperity of the continent will be achieved without engaging young people or without providing the space for young people to take part in decision making. So this agenda is a call to action. It's also a vision. To further promote this agenda, YALDA as a youth organization creates space and the necessary environment for its members to be able to take part in this whole transformation process. So it is important for YALDA members to know this. It is important for, if you are a YALDA member, if you are a branch member, it is important for you to know that YALDA seeks to advance Agenda 2063 of the African Union. And that agenda works towards a united Africa, a prosperous Africa, and an Africa that is peaceful. And so all our work as branches must be guided by this. Next slide, please. So the YALDA Inter-Collegiate Model African Union Summit as one of the platforms here that creates for young people. It's an Inter-Collegiate Model African Summit, mostly held in the months of January and June by YALDA branches. And it seeks to engage members to actively participate in learning, researching more about African countries and other structures of the African Union through various media platforms. So all branches must ensure that in planning for every year, they have a plan to organize this event. Normally, learning from how others organize this particular summit, a team of 2 students and members are allowed to set up or represent an African country. And it is important for branches to remember that they can have this summit with only 20 members. It doesn't matter the numbers, the huge numbers, just 20 members. And it also depends on the size of your branch. So if you have a smaller branch, you can, have it with smaller numbers. The model, this model of African Union Commission will be responsible for organizing this summit as well as participate, and will be done by the real AU members. It must be an active research and structures and accurate information to all other members. So it will serve as a platform for learning for African YALDA members. Once you are able to set or organize this well, it will also set as one of the platforms that YALDA members learn. As young people, we must keep creating platforms for ourselves, learning, peer learning, and growing. So all branches must, ensure that they organize this summit at their branch level every year. And any assistance that any branch needs to be able to organize this summit, you can communicate through executive directors to the regional associates, and then YALDA can provide some form of support to you to be able to organize this summit. Next slide, please. Thank you very much. I think I will end here for my colleague to pick it up, then I continue at the third presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Hey, everybody. I'm Carter Bell of Harvard YALDA, and I will be moderating the remainder of the webinar. I had technical difficulties and struggled to sign in on time, so I'm so sorry about that. Nonetheless, I'm here now, and I'm excited to move on with this webinar. But before we continue, could I just remind everybody to silence their microphones so that we can, so that everybody can hear the speakers. Hey. Now, with that being said, I'm ready to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Lalman. As a lawyer by profession, social activist by passion, Nandini Tanya Lalman is an all-rounder with many strings to her bow. She's the chairperson of the International Youth Council Emeritus Chapter, country director of Meritus, the International Youth Society, country coordinator of Meridius for Youth Advocacy Council, and assistant country director of Meridius for the Global Peace Chain. Additionally, she is one of the founder members for Yes for Humanity and the first ambassador for Meridius for My Body is My Body program. Besides, she is the vice president for women empowerment of the International Human Rights Advisory Council and has been awarded the title of Global Goodwill Ambassador by GGA International. Moreover, she is a fellow of the Young African Leaders Initiative, African Changemakers, and the African Women Entrepreneurship Cooperative. Furthermore, she sits on the Global Advisory Council of the Steering for Greatness Foundation and has been appointed on the membership advisory group of CIVICUS as Civicus Solitary Fund. Besides, she volunteers as a mentor for Opportunity and the Cherry Blair Foundation. Ms. Lalman, are you on? Okay, you ready?
Hi. Yes, thank you, Carter, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, everybody, for joining our webinar. So I will proceed with the YALDA International Conferences. Every 2 years, an IBOOT camp is held in the cities of one of the African YALDA branches, whereby youth from all over Africa and abroad will converge to discuss issues on how to overcome challenges to youth leadership and Africa's development. At the IBOOT camp, young people will receive real-time feedback on the ideas from our high-profile speakers who are experts in their fields. We are at the moment in preparation of the 2020 IBOOT camp, which will be held on the 23rd to the 27th September at Future Africa Center at the University of Pretoria in South Africa. We also have information about regional conferences, whereby during the year, between the YALDA International IBOOT camp, branches in the different regions of Africa and those abroad are encouraged to work together to hold regional conferences. Unlike the YALDA International IBOOT camp, the regional conferences are not compulsory, and branches may choose whether or not they want to participate. YALDA International is happy to offer any technical assistance when needed. Let's move on for more description about the South Africa IBOOT camp for 2020. YALDA will host its 8th International IBOOT camp in South Africa on the 23rd to the 27th September at University of Pretoria in South Africa. The theme of the IBOOT camp will focus on youth inclusiveness in the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Applications will be opened by end of February, so please visit our social media platforms and websites to access our application portal. All branches should start planning in terms of fundraising for the event. Separate webinars will be held in subsequent months on how to raise funds to attend the IBOOT camp. Delegates will be expected to finance their travel to the event and also to pay registration fees so as to take care of their accommodation and meals. Moving on to the publications by YALDA, all branches are required to submit some articles and material, both from members and professional affiliates, for all the YALDA publications, as requested to the YALDA International Headquarters. Regarding international competitions, campaigns, and awards, all competitions will be announced every 6 months by the YALDA International Board of Directors with each YALDA agenda. Thank you so much, Carter, for my time. I will now leave the floor to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, so the next session, John will continue to present. John, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hello, can you come again? What did you say?
Yes. Do you see the slide?
Yes, I've seen it. Okay, so thank you very much. I've come again. So I will be presenting on one important YALDA campaign that we are embarking on, that we think all YALDA members must be aware of and actively participate in this. This campaign is called Youth Contributing to the Implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We are all aware that the AfCFTA Secretariat has been set up in Ghana, and it's kind of creating a single market for African countries, free movement of goods and services and people. Therefore, YALDA decided to embark on this campaign to be able to ensure or get young people to participate in the implementation of the AfCFTA, the trade area. Now, why is this important? The aim is to create a single African market. And you can't create a single African market without due recognition to young people. And remember, I told you that one of YALDA's pillars is to promote the African Union Agenda 2063. And so this particular free trade area is a move towards achieving that prosperous Africa we are all I think I'm back again. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So the goal of the campaign is to promote among the youth, and for that matter, members of YALDA, the vision of the African Union Agenda 2063, and then the Continental Free Trade Area. So we are much concerned about how young people get involved in the implementation of this agreement. And so this campaign will be running from, it started last year till 2021. Now, next slide, please. Now, the objectives of the campaign. You will all bear with me that knowledge about this particular trade area is limited amongst young people. And so this campaign seeks to break that information asymmetry and provide information to young people to be able to embrace all the opportunities that this particular trade area brings to us all. If young people are not well informed about this, there is no way young people can get involved and enjoy or take advantage of all the good opportunities presented by this particular arrangement. Therefore, the campaign also seeks to demonstrate to young people how they can leverage on these opportunities. Not leaving out the fact that young people have roles to play in this whole thing. So it's not all about advocating for young people to get involved, advocating for providing space for young people in this whole process, but also making it clear that as young people, we have roles to play in this whole trade area. And therefore, YALDA is acting as a convener. YALDA is acting as a coordinator or a catalyst to be able to provide the necessary or the enabling platform for YALDA members to take advantage of the opportunities that this particular trade agreement presents to us all. So these are the objectives of the campaign that YALDA is embarking on. And all members must know about this campaign and get involved. Next slide, please.
Okay. Hello. As a youth, we are supposed to do each and everything that is being considered.
Next slide, please. Right. What are the activities that we will be undertaking in this whole campaign? There will be competitions and challenges. So time and time, YALDA will introduce competitions and challenges, and all members are expected to participate in these challenges and competitions. So at your branch level, any competition that YALDA publishes, any competition that YALDA International Publishing must participate. Aside that, all branches themselves must introduce competitions and challenges that seeks to focus on the free trade agreement, so that as members within the branch, you can help to promote, or you can help to have discussions around this whole trade agreement with the objective of getting young people, taking advantage of the opportunities in there. There will be webinars like we are doing today. And this webinars will seek to provide more information on the campaign activities. And we encourage all members to get involved, to participate in this webinars. At branch levels, we encourage branches to organize what we call celebratory engagements. So celebratory engagement, so within your areas, within your regions, within your countries, identify celebrities and then use them to organize events around the free trade area, issues of the free trade area, discussing it and how to create space for young people, how to break barriers for young people, and how to connect young people to take advantage or to benefit from this whole thing. Then in April, YALDA will dedicate a week for what we call the YALDA AfCFTA week, and all branches are expected to get involved. There will be directive as to how we'll do the engagement. There shall be social media engagement, and we encourage branches that at your branch level in your various countries, organize events that talks about this trade agreement, organize conferences that seeks to bring stakeholders together, that seeks to bring young people together to have discussions around this whole thing. And so that young people would, one, have information, would have the knowledge, and will be able to, will be connected to be able to take advantage of this whole trade area. One of the platform YALDA, remember I told you YALDA is serving as a catalyst, as a convener in this whole process. And therefore, YALDA uses the iBootcamp, which of course we are going to use this year's iBootcamp as one of the major platforms to promote this particular trade area. And so the iBootcamp is going to focus on, the theme of the iBootcamp is going to focus on this particular trade agreement. And so our objective is that young people must have information, young people must network amongst themselves, and young people must be able to break the barriers to be able to enjoy the opportunities that this particular trade agreement presents. Next slide, please. So what is expected of us as YALDA members and as branches? We must participate in all activities. So here, I mean, the activities, you will see those campaign activities in two folds. There will be YALDA International Activities, and then there will be branch level activities. So we expect all branches to be organizing branch level activities. Countries that can organize at a country level should organize it at a country level and make sure that you are participating. All branch executive directors should ensure that all branch members are participating in this whole campaign. You must provide updates to YALDA International on the activities you are organizing. And so we expect that in your reports, in your quarterly report updates, regional associates also provide report to the International Executive Committee. So if you don't report on the progress of this campaign activities, they cannot also report to the YALDA International. So we encourage YALDA branches to report on the activities they are organizing. In fact, there are reward systems for branches that will organize events around this campaign. And provide us or give us feedback. When you are organizing your activities, when you are organizing the discussions and the workshops, tell us what is working, what is not working, and how can we improve this whole campaign. Our objective, remember, is to promote how young people will get involved in, this whole trade agreement and they themselves benefiting from it. Next slide, please. So moving on to the reward system. So the campaign has provided some reward systems for branches that will, take active part or play active role in this whole campaign. 10 best branches that will be active, that will be organizing events in relation to this campaign, that will be promoting this campaign on social media, that will be reporting on the activities they are organizing. Will be recognized by YALDA International. And so YALDA will reward those branches. Now, there is another reward package where if any branch is able to raise funds to support a campaign activity, YALDA International will give you a matching grant. So if, for instance, YALDA US is able to mobilize, let's say, $500 and organize an event in relation to this campaign, YALDA will give you an additional $500 to be able to organize the event. So this is one of the reward packages that we have in place for active branches. Then we will feature those branches in our quarterly newsletters and our reports on our social media pages, on our website, for them to be recognized. And in IBOO Camp 2020, which will be happening in South Africa, like my earlier presenter said, from those active branches, each of those active branches, 5 members will be sponsored to attend the IBOO Camp in South Africa. So all boils down to how responsive and how active as branches we embrace this and we take part in this whole campaign process. So I will encourage all branches to organize events. First of all branches should sit down, look at this whole campaign initiative and put up a plan. So at country level, at branch level, through the support of the regional associate, we will help to, draw some action plans annually. So it can be annual action plans. Even though the campaign is running from last year to running till 2021, you can have annual action plans, and then you can be able to report on progress of how far you are implementing this particular activities, and that will be of valuable information to YALDA International. Next slide, please. So that is a brief presentation on the whole free trade, African Continental Free Trade Agreement campaign that we are embarking on. Now, moving on to the next presentation, I would like to take you through the structure of YALDA International, or YALDA as an organization. I think we always have new members in our midst, people who join our webinars for the first time. So this is an opportunity to know more about the structure of YALDA International, team, the organization structure. So at the top of the structure is the YALDA International Board. One step below that is the YALDA International Advisory Board. These are two separate bodies. Then below the YALDA International Advisory Board, so for the YALDA International Advisory Board, we have eminent persons across all the regions of Africa that serve on this board. Then we have the International Executive Committee, headed by the International Chairperson. So the International Executive Committee is made up of the International Chairperson, International Secretary, the regional associates. We have about Western Africa, Central Africa, Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, Northern Africa, Francophone and Laissez-faire Africa. So all these regional associates serve on the International Executive Committee. Then we have the head of finance. We have the head of publicity.
I can't see anything on my screen.
We have the head of publicity. Then we have the head of branches. Then also on the committee, we have elected representatives from past executive directors. Then we have an elected person from past regional associates. So this is the structure of the organization. So the International Executive Committee is at the bottom with this membership and headed by the international chairperson. So this is the structure of YALDA International. Of course, at the branch level, you know the structures, executive directors, and then the other members at the various university branches, branch levels, and at the country level. So this is just way of information for us all to know how the structure of YALDA is, so that you know how and who you should engage appropriately on what issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thank you again for coming back in and finishing those slides. Can we move on to the announcement slides? Yes, thank you. So yes, we just have a few important announcements. Can you move on? So if you have not already followed YALDA on Facebook and Twitter, please do so. The links are provided here. Hopefully you can just screenshot this or go straight to the links. We ask you to help keep our social media live by posting comments only once a week. And our new social media competition is coming soon, so get ready. I will post more on that information later. And I also want to remind everybody to complete your branch quarterly report. You are required to fill out the branch quarterly report every 3 months, the 22nd of March, the 22nd of June, the 22nd of September, and the 22nd of December. Your reports were due Thursday, March 22nd, and you can turn them in on this Google form. So does anybody have any questions? or if you have any questions, could you please write them in the chat, and then we could ask the speakers there. Okay, it appears, John, are you still there? Or Tanya?
Yes, I'm
Yes,
still
I'm
here.
here.
Okay, I don't know if you can see these questions, but I'll just go ahead and ask them. So one listener asked, how do I register with YALDA? This person is from Kenya.
Yes, how do I register as I'm from Kenya?
As a campaigner, so my understanding of the question is how can you register? How do you register as a campaigner? First of all, if you are a YALDA member, then the branch, because this campaign, we want the branches to lead the campaign. So you would have to speak to your executive director at your branch. And like I said earlier on, how you intend to participate in this campaign. So you can have the number of events, activities you want to do, how you want to engage on social media, and there you can get involved as a brand. Then personally, you can, if you are someone who engages on social media, you can help spread the news, you can help engage people, you can facilitate, learning sessions through your activities. So there are a lot of ways as an individual you don't necessarily need to register as a campaigner, but once the campaign is launched and you are a member, you just get involved. And the most important thing is that we have to know who is doing what, where, and what are the lessons that are coming out of that for us to be able to, be providing some form of support, technical support to you. So the branches must be reporting on activities that they are doing, as well as what each of their members are also doing. So I hope I'm clear.
Okay, thank you for answering that question. So the next question is from Precious. It's about the branch report, whether she should email it in.
Yes, there is an online form we use to report, and all branch executive directors have that form. So I think you speak to his executive director, or you can send an email to YALDA Africa, and we can help you have access to that form. You can submit your report. So it's an online form.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is from Sabir Boumedi. And this question regards the how long each position lasts for the structure for the structure of the executive bureau and the head of each department.
Sonia, can you help answer this question?
Yes, just how long does each position last if you are the head of each department of the executive borough, or how long does each department, how long is each department's term within the executive borough?
Bukamo, please, can you help answer this question?
Okay, we can.
Where is our branch right now?
Okay, yes, so the position is 2 years and it's renewable. Could, if you guys would like, you could just ask the question by unmuting your microphone and instead of putting in the chat box. But in the meantime, I'll ask the next question, which is from Chuka from Nigeria. So he tried to register as a youth member on the official website, but was asked to get an access code. How would he get this access code?
All right, thank you very much. Sometimes we have some technical challenges when individuals are trying to access our website. When you have that challenge, kindly email us. We will link you to the appropriate regional associate to help you with the registration.
Okay, thank you. So this question, the next question is about the quarterly branch report. And could you please just explain a little bit more as to, what exactly we would need to include in the quarterly branch report?
Please, I'm not clear. Can you come again?
Yes. So what types of things would we need to include in the quarterly branch report?
Okay, so the branch report has a lot of sections, and the information cuts across what you are doing as a branch. We want to know if the branches are meeting. We want to know if the branches are organizing events or programs. We want to know what collaborations the branches are having. So the template provides those sections and allows you to fill those columns. So once you access the form, you get all these details. But basically, these are the summary. These are the information that we'll be requiring from you in the report.
Okay, thank you. This next question is again about the branch report. So if we had 2 or more events in a quarter, do we consolidate and send as one report, or do we send it separate?
You mean if you have 2 activities in the quarter? Is that what you said?
Yes.
For a quarter, we need only a single report. So in the template provides space for you to input a number of activities that you have organized, so that it's kind of a summarized template for the quarter.
Okay, thank you. Could Chooks just talk about YALDA Nigeria? So YALDA Nigeria has a strict membership criteria, or in a very special application process. Could Chooks just talk about that?
Hi, Carter. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Carter, for the question. As per YALDA Nigeria, what we do is to ask our potential members to fill out our forms. Our forms include a couple of essay questions. We want to know what the potential member is looking forward to, as well as areas where we can come in to assist. Because as a national branch, we particularly look out for young professionals that are looking forward to improving their personal and self-development. So that's the area we are mostly focused on. But as well, we also equally advise others who are looking forward to setting up university branches, and we coordinate with them to ensure that the setup is, is smooth and efficiently carried out. I could share templates form with the team at the end of this webinar. But most importantly, we ask to know what the potential applicant has to offer, and what the applicant needs, so as to be able to assess the level of engagement we will have with the potential applicant when the person eventually onboarded to join YALDA Nigeria. And our application is seasonal, is not open all year round. We are looking forward to opening up the 2020 application by the end of Q1. By the end of next month, we should have our application up. So members or potential members who are looking forward to joining YALDA Nigeria can send in their applications, and upon its review, we'll definitely get back to them and onboard them as members of YALDA Nigeria. If they have any question, if any potential member or applicant has a question, then of course they can always send us an email. Our email is yaldanigeria@gmail.com, and they are assured of getting a response from us as quick as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Chooks. So the next question I see here is from Nengo Mao. Would you like to ask this question yourself? By unmuting your microphone. Nengo? Okay, if not, I can just go ahead and ask the question myself. So Nengo said, hello to all. I'm Nengo Mao from Cameroon. I applaud the initiative of the UMOJA campaign to reinforce and spread the message of the AfCFTA and the African Union's 2063 agenda. However, do we have any plans that go towards the 1 million by 2021 initiative? I ask that, seeing that the deadline is much sooner. Thank you.
So I'm not so clear about the question. It's asking if there's any grant available for branches to organize events. Is that what the person means?
I can add to the answer that was given. So in terms of YALDA being in line with the 1 million by 2021 initiative with the African Union, well, when they were celebrating the African Youth Day, we had the same theme. So we, as a youth organization, we wanted our branches to also organize events that highlighted the African Union's plan in terms of empowering 1 million people by 2021. So beyond that, we're still looking for ways to collaborate with the AU Youth Division. But for now, we are focused on the AfCFTA and the Agenda 2063 campaign.
Okay, thank you. Betania, could you please introduce yourself as well?
Oh, sorry. My name is Betania. I'm the International Branches Coordinator for YALDA. And I've been with YALDA since 2014. I was leading the YALDA Ethiopia branch since its creation. So I would also like to add on the answers about being a member in a specific branch. And someone also asked about the access code. Unfortunately, we're still working on our access code on the website, so we can't have members directly register to the website. So if anybody wants to join the YALDA country branches, that they need to email us by asking information about where the branch is and all of that, and then we can link them to the branches and whoever is responsible for that. But just sending an email doesn't guarantee the membership status of that person who's interested, because how we were doing it in Ethiopia was members go through extensive application processes. We open applications twice a year. So we send out the call for applications, and then people who are committed to the African Renaissance and who are in line with the visions that we have set would get accepted as official members. But whoever applied can also be looped into our international network. So they would get newsletters and they would get invited to public events without necessarily becoming an official event, because we have an extensive application process. So it depends on the country, but of course, please feel free to email us and we'll link you to a branch in your country, and then you'll take it from there.
Thank you, Britannia. So next question. So which branch does Kenya belong to?
Obviously, Kenya is in the Eastern African region, so it falls under the Eastern African Regional Associates role. But we have a number of branches in Kenya, so that person can email us requesting which branch they would be comfortable joining or where they are, because in Nairobi, we have about 5 branches in Nairobi alone.
Okay, thank you. This next question concerns the schedule for the YALDA webinars for this next year. So where could we find those, or is it possible to have them sent to the listeners of this webinar?
I'd like to invite our publicity and communications head, Ms. Acheng, to speak on this if she's on.
Hi, sorry, Britannia, can you please repeat the question? Sorry, I missed it.
The question is about the schedules of the webinars that we're going to have in the months to come. So perhaps if you may share the content and the schedule.
We have the schedules ready. I just don't think we have the designs yet. But what I would encourage you to do, if you got the email, I assume you got the email to attend this webinar. So what you do, you register for the webinar. You register, there's there's an emailing list. So one of the things that we are doing this year is that we're giving, and we have been doing, we have been issuing certificates. So once you register to be receiving constant communication on webinars, you'll get a whole list of the webinars as scheduled for the whole year of 2020. But additionally, you also get a certificate. So we will be releasing those soon as possible. I think by next month, we will have those ready. So you'll be able to have a whole schedule of the 2020 webinars. So it's something we're working through. So the next time you see the email, kindly register to receive constant updates so that you can receive a whole schedule of the 2020 webinar.
Okay, thank you, Acheng. So this next question is about the International Executive Committee. So how can one become an International Executive Committee member? And is the Executive Director for a branch a member of the IEC?
To answer that, the international executive members have a mandate of 3 years. So if we have an opening or if someone resigns, then we publicly publicize for a call for application, like we recently did for our regional associates position of different regions, for the Francophone, Lusophone, and Northern African region. So people that are interested to apply for the International Executive Committee should be updated on our Facebook page and all our social media pages, because we openly publicize open positions in the committee. And then when the term expires, and then of course we'll also have a call for application again.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I don't see any more questions at the moment. But if anybody has any,
Sorry, I have a comment.
yes,
Sorry, to cut
okay,
you short.
no, go
I
ahead.
have a comment concerning this. Someone asked on the webinar. So, like I said, we'll be releasing a schedule of the webinars. But just to announce that next month we have an exciting webinar will be hosted by the World Bank on women empowerment. So, everyone on this webinar, please invite your friends and everyone who's interested and young people to come and join in on this conversation. Like I said, it's very exciting. We have the World Bank on board. So please come and join us for this exciting webinar. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities also. So invite everyone to listen in. So we will have that exciting webinar next month. We'll have more webinars hosted by the World Bank. This is just one of them. So let everyone invite everyone else for this exciting webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I don't see any more questions on the chat, but if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and speak up and ask your questions. But in the meantime, Leone has some comments that she would like to make.
Thank you everybody for making this webinar and all your exceptional questions. I think it just goes to show how important it is that we host regional webinars with our branches, and I'm talking to the YRAs on a monthly, quarterly basis, whatever, to answer people's questions, because people have some very interesting questions on this webinar. Now, I'm going to go back to our AfCFTA campaign, that we do have some very large sponsors who are including some very big United Nations entities who are ready to come on board and support us. They will only support us given the strength of our branches. So if your branch is really eager for this support, then please make sure that, and unfortunately, Carter, not the US branches, but you have your own fundraising plan and agenda, but the African country branches. So if you are very interested in making sure that you qualify for this support, it's gonna take a lot from you and the branches to ensure that these United Nations entities are happy enough with your country branch to support it. But it will involve making sure you submit your quarterly report. And secondly, it may involve you also having a fundraising plan for how you're gonna get the money, because they're not gonna support everything. They're going to give some seed funding, but it's up to your branch to go out there and source other funds. So you'll need to have a plan. And just to be very clear, some of the dates have changed, given the United Nations entities that want to support us. So Youth for AfCFTA week will be in June. That is the week of June 22nd. And then our quarterly reports for March, instead of them being due on the 22nd, they will be due on the 15th of March. And then I will explain why. Thirdly, if you haven't submitted your December branch report, you need to do so ASAP, because all these good things we're talking about, it will never, you will never qualify if your branches are not in good standing, which means have submitted reports and good reports. It doesn't mean you write one word for each section. You need to take it very seriously. And again, because we've got some serious entities that are willing to support and fund us, which is very exciting, and as well as give us technical assistance. My fourth and last point is, or is it my fifth point? I can't remember, but my fourth and last point is that the reason why we are asking branches to submit their quarterly reports very early this year is because of the conference. Please mute your mic and do not talk. is because of the Conference of Ministers that is coming up on the 18th to 24th of March, and we are going to be hosting 2 side events actually. And this wasn't in our PowerPoint, but I'd like Chooks, because we've been working on this, Chooks to kind of give an overview of our 2 side events, what this Conference of Ministers is, and we will be sending out calls for nominations to all the branches and the departments at YALDA for you to nominate your best performing executive director or member to be sponsored to come and attend the Conference of Ministers in Addis Ababa in end of March, because we've got some very generous sponsors as well that we've managed to secure for that event. So Chooks, please talk a little bit about the Conference of Ministers, what we did last year, why it's so important, and why people should send nominations, etc. Thank you.
My question is that who is in charge of YALDA? Who is in charge of YALDA? Who is in charge of
No, 1
YALDA?
second. We'll take questions later. We just need Chooks just to talk about. Thank you for your question, Chooks, to just talk about ministers, what we did last year, why it's important, and what we are doing this year. Chooks, please unmute your mic and just talk a little bit about the Conference of Ministers and our side events this year, the 2 side events.
Chooks, we are waiting for your presentation, please.
If Chooks, are you able? Okay, if Chooks is not available right now, he might have just stepped away from his mic, but Chooks, if you're available, please talk about the side events. Tanya, can you please just talk about the one we did last year and why this event is important? And then I will ask Patricia, I see you are online, maybe you're offline, but Patricia, if you're online, you can talk about our side event for this year because you helped prepare the documentation.
Well, last year we were the only NGO and youth organization to have a to host a side event on the sidelines of the UNECA's Conference of Ministers, and this means so much for the young people because these are ministers of finances or from different countries, and we had the UNECA secretary present at our side event. That means that they're very serious about engaging YALDA as an official voice to reflect the needs and voices of the young people of Africa. So it was such a great, astounding event. We also had different ministers from different countries, which later translated into them wanting to support YALDA branches going back to their countries. So this is a very important event for young people in Africa and for YALDA as well, because NGOs are not given the platform to host side events and on such a high level meeting of the UN Economic Commission for Africa. And this year, we're also given the chance again to host not just 1, but 2 side events based on the astounding success that we had last year. So it would be very great to have a number of young people present. We have young speakers amongst with ministers as well. So we ensure that young people intervene on continental policy frameworks. So this is very incredible on our end.
Thank you, Bitania. I don't know if Chooks has anything to add, but the theme of our side event this year is accelerating industrialization in Africa by investing in youth digital innovations. So that's our side event. We had to apply and we were accepted. The second side event that they have put us in is called the Hackathon or Digital Solutions for Development. So very, very great opportunity for us. And again, I will finish off because we've just got a few more questions and we have 5 minutes. So we can finish answering those last 2 questions. But we will be sending out an email next week requesting for nominations. And nominations are only valid if your branch has submitted their branch report for December and their branch report for March. Thank you. Oh, one last thing. This is your opportunity actually to meet your ministers in person, the ministers of finance, the ministers of development and planning or economics. So these are the ministers that go there and you're walking in the same hallway as them and they're so eager to talk to young people from their countries. So it's a phenomenal opportunity to meet your ministers and the people who shape policy in your country, as Bitania already said. Thank you. Carter, you can take the mic away and ask the last few questions and then we can close, please. Thank you.
Yes, yes. One question is, who's in charge of the East Africa branch?
There's no East Africa branch, it's a region. So under the East Africa region, we have a number of branches in different countries. Ethiopia, Kenya, and Uganda. We have active branches there. So each of the branches have their own structures of who leads them. But we have a regional associate for that region called Miss Natalie. So you can find her details on the website, or if you have questions on specific groups that you would like to join, please do email us at the YALDA email address that is available at the website, on the website.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so would there be sponsorship available for members who actively participate in all the webinars for the upcoming iBoot Camp in South Africa?
Bukamo, can you answer that? Answer. So there's obviously no sponsorship needed to attend a webinar. So it's up to the members or whoever is interested to attend or take part of our monthly webinars. So branches need to be active for them to be considered for sponsorship positions for the upcoming iBoot Camp in South Africa, which is going to be held in September. So if for those branches that are in active standing in terms of submitting their branch quarterly reports on time and also organizing active in line with the international campaigns that we're leading, then there might be sponsorships available for the very active branches and members of those branches.
Okay, thank you. So could you please just repeat the themes for the 2 side events at the UNECA Conference of Ministers again?
We will send those out in an email and they should be available on the UNECA website.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So we don't have any more questions in the chat. If anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask any questions, they can, but we are trying to wrap this up pretty soon. Do any of the speakers have anything else that they would like to add?
Yes, please, some closing remarks from John, Tanya, and Bitania, please.
If not, I can go on. So while we wait on John and Tanya to begin for the closing remarks, I'd like to urge our dear members to put pressure on your branch heads and executive members to ensure that the PCA branches are submitted on time, so that to ensure that branch quarterly reports are submitted on time, so that the young, aspiring, and active members can also get rewards that are coming, because we want young people to take part of our international events.
Bitania, we can hardly hear you. Kada, can you mute your mic so maybe it will be better for us to hear Bitania? And yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it better? Okay. So
Yeah,
I was
much better.
saying that I would like to urge our dear members to also put pressure on their branch heads and executive directors or executive members of their branches, so that branch quarterly reports are submitted on time. And I apologize for my cat that is making the background noise. So yeah, we want young active members to benefit from the rewards packages that we've put in place, so that they can take part of our international initiatives, such as the side events at the ministers, at the Conference of Ministers, or the IMAUS camp, and exciting events that we have throughout the year. But that will only be attained when the active branches are in good standing by submitting their reports on time, and at the same time organizing different events locally and internationally that align with our campaigns. And please do join our monthly webinars as well. And the email is right on the slide right now, yaldafrica@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And if you want to join YALDA, we'd also put you in touch with a branch that is in your country. If not, then if you're interested to start a branch in your own country, we will also guide you through how you can start a new branch. The BAP is also available online, the branch action plan document, so you can go through it and learn more about how to set up a branch or how to lead an active branch in your countries. So thank you. That's my last word.
Thank you. Does Trooks or John have any last comments? Okay. So with all that said, we're going to conclude this webinar. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Thank you, speakers, for coming out and telling us what we needed to know about becoming active members and active members of YALDA. And thank you for everybody's questions. Thank you for all of your comments. And that will conclude the webinar. Have a great day.
Or have a great evening for us in Africa. It's almost 7 p.m. in East Africa.